Whether it's another next year or 5-year goal? What is?
Well, if we can just see the numbers come up and more people get involved, I think that'll be great. See the education, not see the March of Dimes cause fade into, there's so much noise out there today. There are so many great charities, and they're all good, but this particular cause is a preemptive charity. We're not just trying to solve a problem that's already happened. We're trying to prevent this and turn this around. And so, if we can still see the great progress in the numbers of premature birth going down and all that to me would certainly be a victory. But just people talking about it and understanding what March of Dimes is all about and would be good. But I'd also like to see, one of the problems that, and I don't want to call it a problem, one of the challenges, that's a good way to put it, that March of Dimes has is because it's a charity that's been around for a long time. They've got a set way of doing business, and they've been in, but really pushing them to get into the digital age, get into what these young mothers and how they really reach out. Because you're not going to get to them today by newspaper ads or
Right.
even word of mouth. You got to be online. You got to have a digital presence. You've got to be reaching out to, and so there we need young people that are interested in the cause to come out and help and join our fight. I'm an old guy, so I can fake it a little bit, but I really am not part of that culture. So I guess one of my other goals is to see more 20-somethings involved in this charity and helping us use their talents, their skills in order to get the word out. Because if you can invest in time is as important as money. Say you don't have, I don't have $100 or $500 or whatever to donate to March of Dimes, but if you can give 50 hours in a year, that's golden as well. And so find more young people that can be interested in supporting this cause, because that's as important donation as money. Mm-hmm. And let the old guys bankroll it more, but come on in and help us start the dialogue. Help us find ways to spread the word about this important, because an investment in March of Dimes is an investment in your own family tree. If you think about it, it's an investment in your generation and your future generations. And my goal is there to get more young people involved, get them excited. And, this is an amazing generation of young men and women. I did 31 years in the Navy. And now when I look back at the young men and women that are serving in the Navy today, for example, and this is true anywhere, it's not just the armed forces. But just because this is where I come from, I can look back and I can say, wow, I was never like that. I never had the talent, the skills, and the resources, and the capacity to do so much that our young men and women have today. And you see it everywhere. Mm-hmm. But it's a different skill set, and they're pulled in so many different directions. It says, how do you focus that, and how do you get that into the direction of some of these great causes like March of Dimes? Because I'll tell you what, and once you get these young men and women energized about something, there's nothing that they can't do today.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing. And, not to diss Brevard County here where we live, but, we're mostly old people out here. And I said mostly, obviously Opal being a huge exception. But it is. I mean, this is primarily snowbirds, retirees, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so I take a trip up and I visit my kids. I've got one still in the Army. My son, he's a captain in the Army, and my daughter, Colleen, just got out of the Army, and her husband was also in the Army. But we'd go visit them in these bases, and you're just surrounded by young, fit, energetic, excited young men and women, and it's so so great to see that.
Yeah.
And so, man, how can we get that force pointed in this direction?
It sparks livelihood to you.
Oh,
It
yeah.
sparks energy, because you
Absolutely.
see the energy and it pulls at you and
Right.
you gravitate to it.
Right. Yeah, and if anybody thinks that the young men and women of today don't have focus, don't have skills or anything else, try to get into their just online world and keep up for one day. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And to have that kind of skill and to be able to have that kind of, I don't like calling multitasking, because multitasking is telling way short of what they're doing. It's just, it's multiple environment management. I mean, they're able to communicate, with friends, work thing. I mean, people don't, today's generation doesn't want to go to work and just work from 8 to 4. Mm-hmm. They want to do life, work, family from 8 to 4 and from 12 to 12. I mean, and they're able to do it, where we were brought up in a different environment in a different age. And we tend to want to go to work, focus on work, come home, focus on home, do this and do that. Mm-hmm. They want to do it all at the same time. And it's not a bad thing, because they pull it off. Yeah. That's the amazing thing.
Yeah. Well, they don't have anything blocking their mind.
Right.
Like, they're not limited to their age or their environment. They just see the possibilities.
Exactly.
So so talking to you, and I seeing all your smiling, your spark in your eyes. So is this as the same example that you showing the unlimitless ability of March of Dimes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, any charity or any cause,
right.
and like March of Dimes, is only limited by the people that we can get focused on it and get behind it. Okay. And so if you're a young man or woman out there and you're looking for where to put some of that energy, that 24-hour a day push, well, this is a great cause, because it's going to impact you. It's going to help you. Everybody, even though when you're 21, 22, 24, like some of my kids are right now, it may be hard to imagine that, you're going to, want to settle down and have babies, but guess what? You're gonna, it's going to happen. And so this is a cause that can have a direct impact on the quality of your life and the quality of life of your friends. Mm-hmm. Again, it's investing in your own family tree and the family tree of your friends and your relatives. And so, it's great. So what can they do? Again, it could be as simple as taking the 5 minutes to go on the March of Dimes Facebook page and read some of the stories, and then share that with your friends, and then spend a time every once in a while, like the page, so that you're getting periodic updates. So you're getting that reminder every once in a while of the mission. And then when you have an opportunity, spare a little time, a little treasure, show up for a walk once a year, or just share some of the stories and talk about it, or get a little bit educated about it. And if more people did that, more understanding, it's not just about raising money. It's about raising awareness, and it's about believing in the cause. And so it all starts to fall in naturally then. And then, you know what? Somebody's going to come up and they're going to say, I got a great idea for this next year for the March of Dimes. And we're going to do this with probably some digital platform that I never even imagined, or we don't even know about exists yet. And but next year it'll be the latest, greatest thing. And they're going to go in there and they're going to get more people involved. And it's going to be a self-building initiative. And old guys like us will just sit back and kind of watch.
Like, yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's what we needed you.
And I'll be able to tell C stories. Yeah, that happened because I was with Opal Bailey one day a few years ago and I was talking about this. And I'm sure they heard me and they just decided that
it was all over. It was all international. Yeah. I get it. So can you tell us, where is March of Dimes? Has a storefront? Or is it local or just online?
Oh, it's all digital and it's everywhere. And so again, just Google March of Dimes, Google March for Babies, and find it, and it'll ask you where's your locality, and you go in there and it'll give you local points of contact, and you can reach out and offer to support And of course, they'll give you opportunities to donate if that's what what you can do, or if you just need some help or need some information. There's opportunities there too. So, but yeah, it's a great cause, and I hope some of your listeners take advantage of it and get excited about it like I am.
That's really cool, Mark. You're awesome.
Yeah,
you're a great man. You are.
Well, you are too.
In my eyes.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell a quick story here because you know this story, but for your listeners, when you were first starting to do this radio show, I know you wanted a headshot and you didn't want to go down to the photographer and get that done. And I said, I got a camera, I'll do that. And so we walked down to the pier, and we were going to take it with a nice little Indian River background and everything else like that. And there was these two kids sitting there.
I remember.
And they're looking at me, and here I am all looking professional with this big camera, and you're all dressed up. And I turned to them, I said, do you know who this is? This is that famous radio talk show personality, Opal Bailey. And they all go, no.
I know, we laughed. And then you said, no, really?
Yeah, really. That's who this is. And so they left wide-eyed. That was fun.
That was good. That was good. And look, months later.
Yep, there you go.
We meet again.
Yep, absolutely.
We meet again.
Absolutely.
Before you go, I have to ask, can you share some words of encouragement or comfort to our listeners someone who may be going through what you went through and facing that and just don't know how to handle it? Can you share?
Well, whenever you're going through a trying time, be it something like we experienced with Molly or any kind of event, it's a loss, at the time, it's really, really hard in order to imagine that there's any good, that there's anything out of there. But when it's over and when you look back over your shoulder, some things just come out and just really highlight that you didn't see at the time, but come out there. And one of them is the friends and the family that were there for you when you're going through that. I mean, there's so much stress at the time. You look and you're just looking for any relief. But in hindsight, when I think of all the people that dropped what they were doing, some people flew across the country just to come in and watch the three kids for a few days. And not just relatives, family, friends, people that we knew, heard what we were on, wanted to come out and help. Others, of course, made the meals, packed them up, and all those kind of little things at the time. Of course, you say thank you and maybe even write a thank you note or whatever the case may be. But when you look over your shoulder after that's all done and it just blows you away, the kindness and the support that you really had out there. And so when you're going through a trying time, try to stop and think of everything that there's people there for you to help you. And that you're not doing this all alone. And then the other piece is that it all has a purpose. That in the end, you come out stronger. As you weather a storm, you learn more. You become a little bit more savvy, a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more, and I don't want to use the word hardened because it's not hardened. Just more of aware of the blessings and the strengths and everything that you have. And you learn to appreciate not just the little things, but everything. And because you got through this, and it brings things into perspective. So while I certainly hope for everybody a bright, cheerful, happy, uneventful life, all of us are going to have challenges at one point or another. And then when you do, just try to focus on those two things. All those people that are there for you, and that it's not just about you. And then also that in the end, what does it teach you? Where can you find strength in a challenge or in a tragedy? And if you can find that strength, build on it and make you and everybody around you a better person. And I guess the last thing I think, if I can keep babbling on here,
sure, go ahead.
Is try to erase the negativity. because when you're going through that, when you're under a lot of stress and everything else like that, you want to be negative. You want to lash out and you want to bite because it makes you feel better, and it helps bring other people down to your level where you just